Okay, so a new One Punch Man chapter literally just dropped, and this chapter is chapter 160, and it's called Divide. Now, this chapter was definitely not the most action packed, but I feel like this will definitely bring the hype back to One Punch Man because, as you guys know, for many of you that have already read the chapter, you guys will know that by the end of the chapter, something pretty hype does happen. But of course, before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, because if you can't already tell, I post quite a lot of One Punch Man, and I would say I do have a degree in making One Punch Man content. So if you guys want some accurate information, accurately crafted videos on the channel, then this place is definitely for you. But apart from that, let's just get into the damn video because there's a lot to talk about. Well, quite a lot, considering this was a pretty short chapter for a One Punch Man chapter. But anyway, let's get into it. So this chapter starts off pretty much where we left off in the last one, to be honest. But we see that My Mask has now entered the battlefield. Well, kind of where I guess the battle just ended with Garou versus Sage Centipede. And we see that My Mask is looking around and he says, "Oh, what's going on here?" And he sees that Monaco is hitting Flashy Flash's head, and My Mask actually mistakens Monaco actually looking out for Flashy Flash for him trying to assassinate Flashy Flash in his sleep. So My Mask goes in to kill Monaco, but I guess something pretty interesting happens, because at first I actually thought that Metal Bat stopped him, but I realized that Metal Bat was actually knocked out on his back, and instead the I guess the ship that Saitama was surfing on just happens to get in the way of My Mask's punch, and we see that everyone starts flying everywhere, and we see that King is surprised that Mr. Saitama, well, I'm saying it from the perspective of King, but King is, he's surprised that Saitama has now arrived. And he sees, and I guess this is a kind of a comedic sequence where Fubuki is saying, "Well done, King. You rescued Tatsumaki, I see." And he says, I guess we see that Fubuki and, Tank Top Master, Bang, Bomb, I guess Nichirin, who is dead, I'm pretty sure, and Spring Mustachio have now entered, I guess, where everybody is. We see that Fubuki is saying the main players have arrived, the new Blizzard group. And obviously this isn't the new Blizzard group, but Fubuki is like a self-proclaimed, I guess scout for her group, I guess you could say. But we see that something interesting here has actually happened to Tank Top Master, and we see that Tank Top Master is a lot thicker. He is quite a big boy, and we see that I guess this is due to Fubuki using Pig God's fat reserves, his energy, which, by the way, in science, this is back when I learned it in school. Well, I'm still in school technically, but fat is actually fat can actually be used as energy, so this does make scientific sense in a way, I guess. So I guess Tank Top Master's new body is thanks to Pig God's fat, essentially. So we see that obviously Fubuki is now pretty worried about her sister Tatsumaki. We see that Tatsumaki is knocked out completely, but she's not, like, her life isn't endangered or anything. But we see that I guess Tank Top Master is thinking about Tatsumaki, and he says, "Don't you dare die before my mastery of tank top wearing has surpassed your psychic powers," which of course we know that will never happen, but just as a way to I guess it's just semantics, just to I guess establish kind of a relationship between Tank Top Master and Tatsumaki. But moving on, we see that Tank Top Master is actually able to carry everyone, including Darkshine, on his back, and he says, "King, Blizzard of Hell exhausted all of her energy healing the injured. You need to land on the deck ahead of time and catch everyone." And he says, "Eh?" Obviously, because we know King can't actually do this. He's not strong enough. But then we see that the shock, I guess King says, the shock waves from the King style super catch might aggravate their injuries. It would probably be better to use psychic powers. And we see that obviously King is, I guess, kind of using his kind of fake power, or his assumed power, to his advantage here by trying to get out of the fact that he probably should be the one to carry these guys to safety, since he is the infamous King. But moving on, we see that Saitama says this seems like a good spot, and we see that Saitama decides to I guess just straight up just I guess shoot off of the ship. And I guess I guess if he decided to use a serious move here, then it would probably be more impressive. But if he used a serious jump, then he would probably kill everyone in the vicinity. But we see that he does do a pretty powerful jump, but it's not named. And he sees that he jumps straight off the ship, and the ship is completely destroyed after Saitama just jumped. And we see that I guess he jumps to GAROU. And I guess I'm skipping a lot here, but we see that I guess the S-Class have, I guess, you know, found out that there is a monster carcass that has just landed, and they've just realized that this is Sage Centipede. And obviously, I guess King kind of says to Saitama in his head that, oh, of course you have no subtlety, because, you know, these guys don't know Saitama is this strong. But I guess he's just kind of revealed that he is probably not as strong as I guess they first thought he was. But anyway, we go back to, I guess, Pig God, and we see that Pig God is now arriving and is actually saving them from the splash or the shockwave of Sage Centipede's body hitting the water. And we see that Pig God just straight up just eats all of them, or I guess stores them in his mouth, you know, until they get to safety. But then we see that Saitama lands to where GAROU is, and we see that we get this pretty cool stare off between GAROU and Saitama, and we see that Saitama says, what are you supposed to be? So this was definitely the highlight of this chapter. This and probably Tank Top Master's new look, because I kind of prefer this look from Tank Top Master. I don't know why, it just looks really goofy, and I don't know, I just found it pretty funny. But anyway, this is definitely the highlight of the chapters, jokes aside. We see that Saitama versus GAROU is pretty much going to start pretty soon. Well, I'm pretty sure my theory of Saitama awakening GAROU is getting more and more likely by the chapter at this point. Unless this is GAROU's final form, which I doubt completely. And I'm sure a lot of the fan base would be pretty sad if this was his final form. But, you know, I guess my theory of Saitama awakening GAROU is pretty much guaranteed at this point, because, you know, they are literally facing off against each other, you know, unless GAROU decides to run away, which is very unlike GAROU's personality. But then I guess this chapter was pretty short, considering it is a One Punch Man chapter after all. But overall, I would say this chapter was a solid, you know, probably 8 out of 10. And I guess the last panel does kind of carry the entire chapter, because the last panel is very, very hype, if I do say so myself. Because, I mean, we've been waiting for this for years at this point. So the fact that we finally got some, I guess, some kind of not clarification, but I guess consolidation that we will be getting this chapter very, very, you know, painstakingly soon. So I guess you know, we're just gonna have to wait a few more chapters. So maybe by next month we might have you know, Saitama versus GAROU fully happening, because personally I feel like this is kind of bait, and we kind of will shift over to Fubuki versus Psychos. Maybe in the next chapter we might see what happens to Pig God and the rest of the heroes once they got splashed away. So I just personally what I think that could happen in the next chapter. But tell me what you guys think in the next chapter, or tell me what you guys think could happen in the next chapter. But apart from that, that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. If you like the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And apart from that, I'll see you in my next video.